As a software development team, nothing is more important than demo day, the day everybody gets together and celebrates what you've done and you tell the world. Sadly, not enough companies do this, and software engineers don't like demo day because a lot of them don't even like talking to people. But it's super important, and that's what we're going to talk about today on Product Driven. To survive and thrive, you must adopt a product driven mindset. And we're back for another episode of the Product Driven podcast. Today, I got Chris Borchers with me. He is the Chief Technology and Product Officer of Basys, CTPO, which is a new title. Chris has got the title. Maybe we'll talk about that today too. But the thing we're really going to talk about today is Demo Day. Software engineers, product team does all this work. We got to take time to celebrate it and show it off. Helps for a lot of different reasons. That's what we're going to talk about today. Chris, Kansas City as well. Welcome, man.
Yep.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, appreciate you having me. And yeah, I've definitely heard some of your commentary on talking about CTO versus CPO and what that means to a company. So been a lot of fun over here building out product the last 3 years at Basis. And yeah, definitely happy to share what we've learned since I've been here.
Well, I'm sure that relates a lot to why you took this initiative of starting Demo Day at your company. So to set the frame for this, what was the when you took the job there, or going back a little ways, what was the problem you saw that sparked you to think, you know what, maybe we need Demo Day? Like where did that start?
Yeah, for sure. One thing that was definitely a theme within a team here, and it's a theme that I've seen a lot over my career, is that when you're working within the agile methodology, a lot of times you'll have, let's say you have 4 engineers, one product owner. You'll have this engineer working on this, you'll have this engineer working on this, and they're all very separate, different features. And you've got one product owner trying to keep it all going. And so you'll start noticing sprint after sprint after sprint, it's kind of like the same stories are getting carried over. There's not a lot of accountability. We're moving at the pace that we move at. And that was very common here. There was a lot of different folks with moving different directions. They weren't working together. And so trying to put in a methodology, it really kind of it starts with the agile methodology and getting the team focused on commonality and common goals and setting realistic goals and then breaking that work up across the teams. And so that was really a lot of, we didn't have good refinements. We didn't have good planning. We didn't have good goals within sprints. So setting all those things in place for the team and really putting them in a path to be focused and energized towards a common goal is where it all started. And of course, the culmination, if everybody's moving towards a same goal, or at least maybe a couple goals each sprint, is really keeping that scope thin so you can accomplish what you set out to do and you commit to what you want to do. And obviously when you deliver, you want to show that off, right?
Right.
So that's where it all started, was trying to get that team chemistry, get them moving in the same direction, and then have that moment of celebration to where, I can come in a room and celebrate what they've done. Because I think that's, at the end of the day, we're all made to work. And that's one thing what I love about Basis is everybody here is all top A performers, and we come in and work. We work hard. We don't really want to be the limelight of the organization, but you want to be proud of what you've done
It's
and
your
built.
guys'
So
product. You should be
yeah,
proud of
exactly.
what you built.
Yeah, right. So that's kind of how it all started, and it started very small, one small team working together.
So let me ask you this. So you talk about agile, and depending on how you're doing agile, it's like every couple of weeks you do retrospects, you show off, you talk about what you built. But the key is with demo day is trying to make a bigger deal of it, right? And I think
Hmm.
what you guys do that makes it a little more unique is you guys also do it in a big room. Like you have like a big conference room and the CEO shows up,
Yeah,
right? Like so it's not just like this little internal meeting. Like everybody knows the CEO is going to show up to this thing, right? Like everybody knows.
yeah. So it has morphed into be a celebration day here at Basis. So to kind of even back up more, so heading into those first demo days, it was me being excited for the teams and showing off the great work that we've done, and showing off the work that they've done, letting them know that they're empowered, but yet they have my backing, and they also have my, I guess, that pat on the back, right? Is me patting them on the back. And that was great for 2, 3, 4, 5 sprints. But then we've done so much, it's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and add our president into the meeting and let's get his input. Well, we might need input from this sales rep or this operations manager. So it started morphing into adding these different people into the meetings, maybe as context warranted. And so, yeah, we started out with literally 10 people in a room, went to 15. And then one day, this is probably about a year ago, Brad's our CEO. I said, Brad, why don't you come join our meeting? We got a good agenda today. And he's like, oh, right now? Sure. Like, why not? Why not? He says, okay, I'm in. And so the team's obviously like, oh, the CEO's in the room,
They're
so
scared.
they're all of a sudden very tightened up, and calm them down. Our CEO he's very relatable. He's a great guy, and put them all at ease. But so just be normal, just do what we do, and we're showing this. And Brad, I'm going to ask technical questions. This isn't going to be a meeting like you've ever been in. You might understand some of it, you might understand none of it, but we're going to still keep the point and the spirit of our demo day. And so he came out of it. He was like, "That was the best meeting I've ever been in. That was awesome." And of course, as a CEO, he's invested in our teams. A lot of what we've done is we've got a lot of new people, a lot of new technology. So he's able to see that investment in real time, and obviously good feedback from our stakeholders too. But yeah, now all of a sudden, the one the one that you happened to see was one of our biggest ones ever. We had a partner in. We had actually you as a partner, and then another partner in. And I don't know how many people do we have? Probably 75.
There was a lot of people in that room when I
Yeah.
was there. Yes.
Yeah, so there's always I kind of call it the art of the demo. So demos change depending on who your audiences are and who you're trying to tailor things towards. But we definitely put a little bit more time prepping for that demo than we do most of them, just so it would come off more polished. But yeah, that's kind of how it all.
So when you guys do demo day, is it all of the software engineers on your team that partake in it, or is it mostly like they show it to you or one of the other leaders and you guys demo it, or the engineers themselves are doing the demos?
Yeah, it really depends on who the audience is and what the point is that we were trying to portray that day. We definitely like the engineers to get the credit, to get the pat on the back. I mean, they're putting in a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of times working, nights to make sure that they meet their sprint commitments. And so, um, I would say normally we would try to have a lead engineer kind of lead them up. Not everybody is comfortable going in front of where we're at now. Like sometimes that's 50 people, right? That's some engineer's worst nightmare. So we try to respect that. And if that's their worst nightmare and that's going to, keep them up at night, we don't want to put them through that. But at the same point, when we demo, we'll give them the credit, and then have, one of our lead engineers, senior engineers demo it and try to give the context to make it more, I guess, business friendly now, since we have so many folks joining.
Well, the other thing that I like about this is it forces everybody to think a little more about quality as well, right? Like, okay, we know we're going to go show this off and the CEO is going to be there. Like, we got to make sure this really works. We don't look stupid.
Exactly. And our president, our COO, our CEO, our EVP of partner relationships, like they're all in there and
Yeah.
they know the industry better than anybody that we're in. And so if you haven't done your homework and we haven't gathered the right requirements, it is easy to have a miss. But that's actually the point of it too, is to catch those misses. We don't want to go to market, and have something, either out of compliance or out of alliance with what we do as a company or what we stand for. So, like having their feedback, having their eyes on it, I think it also gives them accountability to the product, and it just top down, all levels, accountability and ownership of what's going out to market. So that's been part of the secret sauce.
Do you think it really helped quality and it helped production and speed of delivery?
Absolutely. Speed of delivery, probably so, from a perspective of making sure that we're doing the work that we're committing to. Um, it can slow you down because if you catch something late, it's cheaper to catch it up front. So we do gather requirements from many different individuals within Basys. But every once in a while, it's the soccer ball mentality. You can't have everybody chasing the soccer ball. because otherwise you don't get anything done. So you go with stakeholders, but then there's a level of information that has to go out. And so it's our way of distributing information in a real time, tangible way. It hasn't bit us maybe once or twice that we've maybe had to go back and slow this down just a hair.
How does it change everybody's thinking with your planning in regards to, are you thinking about like, man, we've got to have something to show. Like we got to have something to show off, in a couple weeks or whatever, instead of like, we're only doing this maintenance work or technical debt or stuff behind the scenes. Does it change everybody's perception a little bit of like, no, we got to have something to show everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really easy for me as the chief product officer to say, we need to make sure we're providing business value and drive the teams down. But I also have that hat to say, well, my product needs to be stable and need to make sure that it's scalable, and we need to make sure that we're doing everything on the back end. So I'm always going to be thinking that way: is how do I get something for each vertical within our partner relationships, that we're getting something out the door each quarter. But the teams are really starting to think that way too, because they're working at their levels with the business and small requirements, and we have a methodology in place to where not everything has to be confirmed by me as the chief technology and product officer. They have empowerment and entitlement to build little features that maybe will impact this customer. And that's part of us being a customer centric company, is we want to hear that feedback at all levels and react at all levels. And so having a team that does that and has that accountability to say, hey, we're going to go ahead and deliver this small feature, and it's going to be this win, and we're going to tell that story. I think the whole team feels that, and it's really created a lot of power and empowerment just top down within our product organization.
Well, I like this specific aspect of it because you've probably seen this a lot, and you still probably see this even in your own company today from time to time, where it's like, we're doing all this work, but what do we have that we would go to our customers and be really excited to tell our customers about? And if the answer is nothing, I always ask them like, well, why are we doing any of this? If our customers aren't going to care about a single thing that we're working on right now, what are we working on? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Right. And so that's part of the thing with the demo day that I'm thinking of, like, man, we can have something. We can have something we're going to go to our customers and be like, man, this is great. Look at this great thing that we did. Like, there's got to be something.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as leaders in organizations, a lot of times we get so caught up in, we got to build this feature, we got to build this feature. We don't really think about the features we built too. And
Yeah.
so I think this has been a lesson I've learned over the last, I would say, 6 to 8 weeks. We built a lot of great features. If you go to our product site and look at all the features we built, all that stuff's been built over the last 2 years. It's very powerful. But which nuances are we missing of those features that customers aren't taking it? So listening to that feedback loop, having our product owners listen to that feedback loop, making sure our sales members are engaged, and hearing the no's, because there's a lot of little tweaks we can make to current features to make no's yeses. And then when you bring that quickly to market, like that's where you're successful. One person's no is going to be many people's no's, and so trying to just iterate through those cycles quickly, and not putting a lot of overhead on these teams has been really, really powerful. And so we can be very nimble and flexible with how we approach things. Obviously, we always got a bigger strategy that we're heading towards from a product perspective, but that's been really powerful to. I mean, really, there's hardly a 2 weeks where we miss a demo day, just because there's always something that is of value to the business.
Well, I think there's a few subtopics here that I want to drill into in regards to what you just said. But I think the feedback one is really important, of getting feedback from other internal stakeholders, because a lot of times it's really difficult to get that feedback, right? Like, it's really difficult to get any kind of feedback from people. I don't know about you, but you post in Slack or Teams, whatever it is you use, and it's crickets most of the time, right? It's super hard to get feedback. And some people are scared to get the feedback. Some people are scared to actually give the feedback, right? And do you feel like you guys, through doing this demo day, have created a culture where everybody feels a little more open to like, hey, we're going to take the feedback. This is kind of a safe place to give that feedback. Nobody's going to be offended. We want to hear all the ideas. Like, have you helped nurture that as well?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's like the Jerry Maguire scene, right? Help me help you. Like, how am I
Yeah.
supposed to help you if you're not giving me feedback? So, um, I think over time, I have seen that be pretty difficult to get that feedback, whether or not, people aren't comfortable or they don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Like, we are clear that this works best if the whole organization provides feedback into product. If you hold back or you don't tell us what you're feeling, that's not going to work. And it's from the and we're very transparent about this. You can give feedback real time in demo day. If you're not comfortable giving feedback in front of 50 people, like you can pick whichever level that you want to go to within our product organization. There's three different levels. Um, Go to any level you want, give the feedback. Definitely try to have an opportunity amount behind your feedback. But those are things that we want to hear, right? And it has been good, and just helping provide that feedback and being listen to our customers. That's when you're listening to your customers and you're able to tell them like, okay, you impacted our backlog, and here's your feature. 8 weeks, 12 weeks out from when maybe you asked for it. You really then are working with a company that cares about you, and that's very sticky to our customers.
Well, the other thing that I really like about this that I think is really important, you talk about, the last 2 years, we've built all these features, we've done all this stuff. But one of the things that a lot of times companies struggle with is getting the most amount of value out of the work that they have delivered. And part of that is, educating everybody internally, educating the sales team. Why do we do this thing? Why does it exist? Right. So that they know later to go talk to customers about it, or a customer brings up an issue and they're like, that's why we built this thing 3 weeks ago that they made a big deal about. Right. Like, and so much of this is a function of marketing. It's like, how do we stop and celebrate what we've built, educate everybody on it, spend the extra time to update our website, do the press release, update our documentation, email our customers. Like, all of that part of this is really important. Otherwise, it's like we're shipping code and nobody even knows what we did.
Yeah, and that's
So how do
every
we get the most value out of this?
yeah, every engineer, every product's worst nightmare is I just built something that's never going to be used.
Nobody knows it exists.
Right, right. I grew up with an engineering background. That's the worst is when you spent 6 months of your life and all of a sudden, a leader decides to shelve it or it just isn't used for whatever reason. You missed the requirements. That's terrible, right? That leads to engineer burnout. That leads to engineers leaving the organization. And so that's why I said when you deliver a feature, you just don't want to keep building widgets just to build widgets. You want
Yeah.
to make sure that
You don't
you're
want to be a
hitting the
feature
mark.
factory.
Yeah, that you're getting the feedback. And if sales and kind of we have a whole partner team, a whole merchant facing team, and they're all able to listen to a customer's problems and then provide solutions. And so really everybody has become product experts, if you will, to our product and able to have those conversations and be empowered to listen to a problem and then be able to solve it with our product. So I think all of this is just, it's a channel of education. I don't think you don't fix your whole product dilemma just by demo day, but it just definitely does provide a lot of excitement and then just another channel of education.
Well, I really appreciate you joining me today and talking about Demo Day. I'm a big fan of it. One of the things in my previous companies I always tried to do a lot was focusing on, how do we tell our customers, the market, and everybody else to get the most value out of what we built. Like, people always forget the marketing aspect of this, taking time to celebrate what you've built and telling everybody internally, telling your customers, telling the world. I think it's really important. And it starts with demo day internally, right? You got to first tell everybody internally about this cool thing that we built. And I think it's awesome how you guys have your CEO is there and everybody knows it. And I like the added pressure that creates. I like the added focus that it forces. So I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing. I really appreciate you being here today on the show.
Okay, yeah, no, this was great. I appreciate you taking a little time, and hopefully this helps some people out. And we're real excited to be doing what we're doing here at Basis, and we really feel like we're moving the market forward here, and being a differentiator in this space that's pretty competitive. So appreciate your time, Matt.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris, for being on the show.
All
Take
right,
care.
thanks.
Thanks for tuning into Product Driven today. If you're passionate about building user-centric tech products, join over 30,000 tech leaders who receive the Product Driven newsletter directly in their inbox every week. Visit fullscaleteam.com/newsletter to sign up today for our newsletter. You can also view all of our episodes on YouTube and join over 50,000 others. And please follow me, Matt Watson, on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.